Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back. It is still Friday, at least where I live. Well, not Friday, Thursday. It will be Friday, probably when you'll be watching this. But we gotta go over the KI live rundown, or if you want to call it that. I was in the Discord laughing my butt off. I don't know why. The KI lives are usually super awkward. There's a lot of silent moments and always technical difficulty. It's always nice to bully them for that. But it generally looks like KI is really trying hard to kind of alleviate some of the community concerns lately, especially with this recent spring update. So without further ado, sit back, grab some tea and some popcorn, and let's just jump right into it. So over here, as a reminder, you can type in that one free code, super goodies 326, thanks Jason, and you can get some nice little goodies from there. Now, there's also a one-day mount code. I usually don't include that just because you guys have told me that you don't really care about one-day mount code. That's usually at like 20% speed, and that code always seems to expire whenever the live stream is actually over. So I usually don't include the one-day mount codes, and I think in general the community doesn't really care much about that. They care about this one, super goodies, which is going to give you a lot of stuff. So make sure to check that out. So, again, let's go over the KI Live, I guess, rundown and just kind of talk about it because, again, it really does look like they are genuinely trying to do something here. Obviously, I'm a little skeptical about it just because, I've been told many stuff before, many words. This is something I have to see. Like, we'll see what happens this year, and if something's not going right, then, at that point, then I don't know what else to say. But let's talk about it because, again, it looks like they are trying to do something. So what is planned for 2026? They have a Discord partnership, which is in progress, and they also have the end the bug reporting spin cycle. Also, start to finish player suggestions, increase transparency wherever possible, which has also been a big concern in the community, and spotlight our games and our fans, which is cool. So, such as Power 101, Wizard101, Ravenwood Academy, Wizard101 on console, and maybe some other projects that they have along the way, right? Pretty cool stuff, right? And then over here it says what's happening with the Discord, core, Wizard101, and Power 101 community. It will give you the official news, updates, and promotions as per usual. A lot of community eggs in one basket. Players have concerns regarding the platform, including me. I personally just don't like Discord in general. I just don't care much for it, but it is what it is. And more consistent and transparent moderation, which has also been a big concern, especially in servers such as the Pirate 101 Discord server, which we talked about last year, and that was a big fiasco. I think we read like a whole Google document about that situation. But overall, again, we will see. We will see. And like I do in my own server, I just put in a bot, and the bot just does the work, man. And I be putting that, hey, that filter be really strict too. My server go real silent, but yeah, that's good that they are looking into that and they are working on that. So let's talk about the player bug reporting system. Increase visibility to status of issues, make QA, which again, debatable, CS and community life easier, package info for design and engineering, and prioritize issues based off player feedback. And again, we talk about feedback. That's a little bit of a, burning point right there. Still kind of iffy on that one. And they're going to squash more important bugs faster, which I hope so. I feel like I've been seeing this said a billion times. I mean, we can hope. They did a good job with the hotfix and getting that deployed very quickly, but you also have to take into consideration how Beastman players basically had a bugged event. They didn't really get much compensation. You have people that went raiding that also had issues and had to waste a raid key on something that was fine earlier before the spring update. And again, that's where we kind of see a loss of players because a lot of people don't want to play something that's not really working. And that's why it really matters on launch, because if something doesn't go right on launch, then people aren't going to play the game. Even when you do have the hotfix out, still, you already lost those players. And obviously, I could be wrong. As Tiger Lily said, there's probably a lot more lower level people than higher level people. But in general, all the comments I've seen, especially about the spring update, has been overly negative. Even stuff like the UI change has been overly negative. And so that's when you have to really take in the, again, quote unquote, player feedback, and you have to really take that into consideration, because again, the community doesn't feel like they are being heard. And when they don't feel like they are being heard, they simply play a different video game. So that's something that they have to really lock in. They have to lock in. And that's why I'm taking this whole KI Live with a grain of salt. Because I've heard this before. Same thing, new year. I gotta see it to believe it, you know? Alright, now over here, these are the example of the bug reports. I know it's a little hard to see. I'll try and zoom in for you guys. But, you know, this is what it would generally look like. You know, lore spell resets cost more than expected. This is the Wizard101 bug portal. Looks pretty cool. And over here, just another example. Caramel rematch pity gear has debug badge title. You know, pretty cool stuff. And we like this. We like this little transparency with KI. We hope we can continue this, right? And here are some suggestions. It's not a replacement for chat and discussions, right? It's not going to be like the new type of, you know, what was it called? The bulletin board or whatever it's called, or the Q&As, whatever it was called back in the day, the Ravenwood Bulletin, whatever it was called. Popularity is important, not most important. Recognize rebuttal, debate, and variations. Okay, which is also going to be very subjective. And I'm sure in the mighty words of our comrade Contemplative, I'm sure he would have a field day with this right now. Can't be an idea, black hole, or graveyard, which is fine, right? That's for Discord, not for the bug reports, obviously. But it will foster persistent, high-quality ideas, which, again, take that with a grain of salt, okay? And especially if it doesn't go against the game developers' like philosophies, right? I mean, we almost had the treasure card vault that got scrapped. I don't know why. Ratbeard said that they don't want people hoarding treasure cards. Treasure cards are consumables. That's why they made a decathlon. But then you have problems with that because a lot of people might not want to do the decathlon. And then you have treasure cards like Azoth, where you gotta carry a lot of Azoth just to make some raid keys, etc., etc. So, and again, I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Maybe it will. Maybe it will definitely foster some nice little high quality ideas, but I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. Because I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. And can you really blame me? I've been playing this game for so long. Can you really blame anyone? This one was really good. Prohibit AI generated content in Discord servers. I think that's nice. I mean that's kind of easy to do. I don't know why that's even like, why that had to be such a But yes, there you go. No AI generated stuff in Discord servers, right? No chat GPT responses, none of that. Just don't do that. We want real human wizarding, right? And pirating. We want real humans, right? Just none of that AI stuff. And then transparency, which is, again, you know, this was another slippery slope one. So clearer insight into design goals. Stay in touch with the status of bugs and quality of life, which, again, I don't know. Peek behind the curtain of how it's made, which is also cool. I think that would give players some insight on how they're making stuff. And understand long-term objectives and plans, which I honestly could care less. I don't care if they want to make the game in a different engine. I don't care if they want to get rid of spellments entirely. I don't care if they want to get rid of pets. I don't care if they want to make pet training harder. I don't care if they want to make spellments harder. At this point, I just generally could care less. I just worry about all the bugs and glitches on launch, right? I could care less if the community is on fire for some controversial change. I don't care about it, right? I just want the quality of the content to be a little bit better. So community is a two-way street. Prove it, which yes, they do have to prove it. As I've already said in this video, I am taking this whole thing with a grain of salt. And maybe some other players are, because again, this spring update, I keep saying that, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, right? Now this is actually, the next thing I'm going to show you is pretty interesting. And this is a 2026 community roadmap that they have. Now, obviously, we had the winner of 2025, which basically talks about the state of the games and the live stream quality and, you know, analytical and community data, which is nice. And now we're in the spring, which we have developer diaries, which is good. The player bug reporting system, which is also good. Suggestions and feedback forum, which is also good. And also the development roadmap, which is definitely one thing that KI has never done, ever, in like the history of the entire game. They've never really given us a roadmap for the development process, right? And I think most players have kind of already figured out that, you know, spring is just going to be a quality of life update that will give us like a new gauntlet or whatever, or a boss rematch, and then in the summer update, it's going to be a new raid, which only a small portion of players are going to be doing, just because they still have the 2-week raid cooldown. They still got issues regarding, you know, raiding in general, and you have a lot of banned spells out there, so there's not really that much creativity nowadays, right? And then you also have the whole spell mint situation, which kind of messes up a little bit of dual schooling here and there. So yeah, only a small portion of players are going to be raiding. Plus you got to be in a guild, and then you got to be nice to your guild. If you're not, they'll kick you out. It's the whole thing, blah blah blah. Got to think about your time zones. Got to think about when you can get all of these players online at the same exact time. And even then, there will always be people that drop out. I mean, just recently, one of our raiders actually had their entire house burned down. I'm not even joking. I mean, thankfully they're safe, but their computer literally burnt. So they have to use a laptop now. And see, those are the kind of scenarios that can happen in raiding or just in guilds in general. So, and again, we'll see, you know, what will happen in the summer update. I'm really hoping it's not the same as the spring update, where it's just like a super buggy mess and then nobody wants to do it. And honestly, I might not even do the raid on launch myself, just because I don't want to become a bug tester, and I don't want to waste the time and resources to farm a raid key, go in, and then it's a buggy mess, and I don't want to figure that out. I'd rather let the rest of the community figure that out. But that's for spring, right? And that's just not the raid, but the development roadmap. We have to wait and see what they do with that. And then for the summer, which is pretty interesting, they had the extra credits program revamp. So if you guys don't know, the extra credit program was kind of ran by the previous community, the senior community manager, right? Obviously, they parted ways with KI. It was a whole situation. We're not going to bring up some old can of worms, right? But that will also be interesting, because I know a lot of the content creators had some concerns about the program, because nothing has really happened with that program in months. It's just been kind of a dead server in a sense. So, you know, we'll see what happens in the summer. And like I said, I have to see it to believe it. And like they said, they have to prove it, right? They gotta prove it themselves. So if they can do this and bang it out of the way, that would be great. But they gotta prove it. And honestly, I really like the extra credit program. You know, for the most part, I got some really cool rewards. A lot of people think that I'm still in the extra credit program. I had left years ago, dude. I'm not in that server anymore. And quite frankly, there's nothing to do in that server. That's why they have to revamp it, right? If they decide to get active, maybe I'll consider rejoining it. But right now, it's just kind of dead. So, yeah. We'll see that in the summer, and we'll see if they commit to that. And then also the state of the community, which whatever that means. I have no idea what that means, right? And then they're also going to meet the artist, which is also pretty cool. And then we have stuff for autumn, and then we have stuff for winter, which is blurred out, so we don't know exactly what is going to be happening for autumn unless maybe I got to watch more of the live stream and maybe they unblur it. I don't know. But that's basically what the KI Live was, just kind of a reassurance in a sense, right? And then they also showed off the whole Ravenwood picture that we already talked about earlier today. So pretty cool stuff. Now, I made a lengthy tweet kind of talking about the whole KI Live situation. I'll read it word for word. By the way, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of memes. Alright, so I said, honestly, KI Live was a little scuffed. You know, I said that just quality-wise, it seems like everybody is super awkward, which is super normal. That's always happening in KI Lives for the longest time, but, you know, this energy just felt so weird. I think Mickey was like sitting next to like an empty chair or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it just seemed like the energy was off. And quite frankly, like, honestly, I said this in the Discord, but like, if the KI Lives are becoming like too much of a hassle for them, like, honestly, you guys could just throw it all in like a developer diary, just give the free code to everybody and stuff like that, and just kind of write it down just in case people get cold feet, or, you know, there's just not enough participants for a live stream. That could just be an alternative way, right? You don't have to completely annihilate the live streams. If you want to keep doing that, that's fine, but I'm just saying, in case something crazy happens, that is a good alternative. Or you can just reschedule it in general, which I honestly thought they were going to cancel this KI Live, which they've done before, but they committed, so which is good. But yeah, we just have to generally see these changes happen in real time. Right now, all I'm seeing is words, 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 words. And like they said, they gotta prove it. So prove it to me, right? Prove it to me as a player that you can do it. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna keep bullying you guys. And it's not fun bullying you guys if you guys are making it this easy. Make it hard for me to bully you guys. I know y'all watch my videos. I know y'all be seeing my tweets. Yeah, I'll be on the, yo, follow me on Twitter, bro. I'll be airing it out, bro. Twitter be funny. But here's what, you know, I said, you know, if you want to remove the reset button from spellments after 5 years, go for it. I don't care. Want to ban spells from advanced combat? Do it. I don't care. But stop with the God mentality and thinking that you guys are always right all the time. That just makes everything 10 times worse. And I really wish they would get this main character syndrome out of their head. They've been doing it for so many years. Whenever you offer some constructive criticism or a rebuttal to one of the devs, they go on the defense and say, well, we think, no, don't say that, because then that just eliminates most of all of this, okay? Like, and that's the thing, it's like, if you guys aren't going to open up with the criticism, which obviously it can get mixed up with some of the haters, some people just want to see the game shut down, but if you guys can't take the criticism, then it's going to be harder for feedback, because a lot of people aren't going to deliver you feedback if they don't feel like it's being seen. So again, that's something that y'all gotta prove. We will see. I'm taking it with a big grain of salt, right? I don't like that mentality. Yo, people in my last video said that my mic quality was terrible. I beg to differ, but I adjusted it. Now I maxed it all out, but I'm not going to cry about it or give you guys a Shakespearean philosophy about why my microphone quality is the best quality in all of Wizard101 YouTube content creation, because I feel like you guys as the players aren't giving me the right feedback. My microphone quality is perfect. I don't want to hear it, bro. I really don't want to hear it. You gotta take the feedback, okay? Here's some feedback. I think the treasure card vault would be a genuinely good idea, and I understand that you guys don't want people to hoard treasure cards, but also understand this, that I don't want to play on various alt account wizards just to throw my treasure cards in. I love playing on this single character. I will literally pay you money to buy the treasure card vault. Now we're talking about profits now. I will literally give you money. I don't care how many crowns you want to make it cost. Like 5,000 crowns, I'll buy it. I will give you my money. Isn't that what you guys want? Money. That's what Gamingo wants. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's when you might have to put your little philosophies to the side. I will give you money to buy treasure card vaults. I will buy it. Dude. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Whether you like the spring update or not is subjective. But what I want to see is the quality of updates improve. Because right now, this spring update brought in a handful of bugs that affected pretty much everyone. And we really should not need an essay length worth of fixes. It's getting really sad. And it's getting really depressing. I'm like, dude, you have all these fixes. Why didn't you just take an extra day or two on the test realm? And that's another crazy thing. There are some bugs that are only in the live realm. So that might be something on the game coding side. But we go down here. We'll see what happens in the future updates. I've just been playing less and less of the game due to everything that's been happening. I just want them to stop acting like they're the main character and just take accountability when these updates don't go right. It's big old sigh. And that ends it for my TED Talk, ladies and gentlemen. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of us players just genuinely want this game to be as decent as possible. And we also gotta give credit to where credit is due as well. And huge shout out to Mickey because it's his first year as a community manager. So we gotta give him grace. And also I think it's Emma's kind of first year or 2 years into community manager as well. So we gotta give the community managers a little bit of grace. You know, pushing everything aside, we gotta give them a little bit of time to cook. And a lot of players have been trying to let King's Isle cook for like over 10 years. So again, we'll wait and see what happens. But for me personally, I'm the type of guy that gotta see it. And like they said, they gotta prove it. And that's how you're going to keep, and that's how you're going to make money. That's how you're going to have a loyal fan base. I mean, you already have a loyal fan base, but if you're trying to bring back fans, and if you're trying to reassure the fans, and kind of reinforce the loyalty, then you got to prove it to them. Because right now, the way I see it, this spring update was definitely a can of worms. I'm seeing a lot of negativity about it. A lot of people didn't like the whole UI change. A lot of people didn't really like the whole Spellmint situation. A lot of people didn't like the whole Beast Moon sigil bug, and you know, they feel like they were kind of left out and all that. You know, it's like it's a whole thing. And you don't have to run away from it. You just have to learn from this. But it kind of feels like they've been learning from this for like so many years. So, I don't know. We'll see. We will wait and see, and we'll see what happens. But I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions about the state of the game as of right now, ever since the spring update. Because are you guys actively playing this game? Or are you guys actively buying a membership? Are you guys buying crowns? Are you guys supporting this game? Do you guys even play this game anymore? Like, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. But until then, we'll see what happens. We'll let them cook this year. And I don't know. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. I guess we just give up. I think they'll be fine, though. But until then, my name is Richard Unicorn Caller. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Friday. Peace out.